Welcome back to Daytime, and whether you're just an amateur chef or you're really good at it and you're kind of a pro, seasoning is what it's all about. You know, anybody can make a bowl of chicken soup. It's how do you make it more interesting? What do you put in there? What are the flavors you want to have? Nobody knows better than our next guest, who is Jurrian Snellen, who's an executive chef with McCormick Canada. Hi, Jurrian. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I was complimenting you on this fine display today. I mean, you've got everything out here on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're well on our way in promoting our 2017 flavor forecast. Right. So McCormick every year brings out this global report of, up and coming flavors just to kind of inspire home cooks and professional chefs alike. Yeah. So basically what I want to showcase today, out of the 5 trends that we're featuring, the first one is all about breakfast.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite meal of the day.
Favorite meal of the day, absolutely. So what I've prepared here for you to try is a red rice and barley congee. So it's inspired by like Asian dish called congee, which is essentially kind of a rice pudding that's really broken down, and it's considered like a very comfort food in Asia. So it's got red rice from Bhutan, which is a country in Southeast Asia. Okay. Some barley, cranberries, just to kind of give it a little bit of that tart note. Yeah. And then it's cooked in pomegranate juice. Okay. Until it's nice, rich, and creamy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season this with some of the McCormick spices. Okay. These are like what we call warm spices. So there's a little bit of nutmeg in there, some cinnamon, some ginger, and then a tiny bit of clove, just to kind of, bring a little bit of a savory element to the dish.
This is what I'm fascinated by, and I'll let you keep working away at this, is this idea that it's ever changing. I mean, I think a lot of us think about spices as being finite. Here's, you've got your basics, rosemary and thyme and coriander and all those things, but you've got, in McCormick's, you're constantly coming up with new flavors.
That's right, Bob. We're constantly, producing new flavors, new seasoning blends. And what we're trying to do is we're really trying to save the world from boring food.
Who wants boring food?
Who wants boring food? Hey, so I'll let you try a little bit of this. Right. So that is the breakfast bowl. And
that's really quite delicious.
Yeah, what we're seeing is that people are starting to be more conscious about what they eat.
It's a bit of almost like a, well, I guess it's the cranberry. I was going to say it's almost like a citrus flavor to it, but it's the cranberry.
It's the tartness of the cranberry. Yep. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of plate this dish here for you. Sure. So a little bit of the congee, and then we're going to top that off here with some toasted coconut, almonds, and pepitas that are seasoned with that same blend. So there's a little bit of that warm spice on there as well. And then just going to use some mango here. Now, you can use any kind of fruit that you want. If you can't find a mango that's in season, use like a banana, an apple, pineapple. And then just to finish it off, I'm going to put a dollop of Greek yogurt on there.
1 metric dollop?
1 metric dollop. Okay. Nice. So you can hold that. All right. And then as the finishing touch,
is it hard to find any of these ingredients? Because some of the basics here sound a little bit
yeah, I mean,
unusual to me.
You have to kind of look for it, and for some of the ingredients, you have to venture out into the more ethnic-inspired stores. Yes. But generally speaking, like even the local grocery stores are getting better in carrying a lot of these ingredients.
You keep talking there, Jurrian. I'm just enjoying this congee. Now that is really good. And how is it in terms of nutrition and fat, things like that? Yeah,
so it's very, very nutritious, and because breakfast is the first meal of the day, so you want to start it off correct, right? It's got lots of good grains in there. Right. There's the richness of the creamy yogurt, lots of proteins. You've got your nuts, your fruit. And then a little bit of the pomegranate molasses, just to kind of add that sweetness.
We're gonna, we've got a couple of minutes left here, but I want to wait till the next segment to do the next dish because it's a fairly elaborate one. But let me ask you, you mentioned right off the top about, getting together sort of at the beginning of the year. It's almost like a fashion forecast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what's going to be new in spices.
Yeah. So we actually have, we call that our Flavor Forecast Summit, and we have that coming up. So this is basically all of the global McCormick chefs are getting together, and we work with various departments, so with culinary, with marketing, with product development, and we're basically tapping into, you know, different industries to see what the next trends are.
So this is you're part of this.
I'm part of this, yes.
That must be really cool.
I'm representing Canada.
Represent. And so there's a website people can go to as well that really has some really interesting stuff on it. There, in fact, we're looking at it right now.
Yeah. All of these recipes that are attached to the 2017 Flavor Forecast you can find at flavor.ca.
Right. Now that's fascinating. And you won't know yet then what's going to be the big trend, you know, in the rest of 2017 or 2018?
I have a hinge, but I'm not allowed to talk about it just yet.
You're sworn to silence on this.
Every year we launch a Flavor Forecast in December. So coming up December 2017, we'll let you know about the 2018 flavors.
And how many different products does that typically result in? Like, are we, you know, launching new spices, new versions of spices?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year we're highlighting 5 trends. So the first one we talked about, it's the, you know, global breakfast bowls. The second one we're going to do in the next dish, it's the egg yolks, the sunny side of flavor. Then we're also looking at plancha grilling, sweet on pepper, and a Mediterranean mat, which is kind of a mix between, you know, Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisine.
Okay, perfect timing. We're just out of time in this segment. We are going to come back and do the second one, which involves egg yolks, and we'll do that when daytime continues right after this. Stay with us.